Hey, DOOLigans. I just want to tell you something really important between you and me, okay? I want to let you know that we will always have bacon.
He used to watch his favorite show, then got a job on a TV show, talking about that favorite show, but then he had to go. But then he got his own show, talking about that favorite show. It's called Dishin' with DOOLigan. Dishin' with DOOLigan.
Hey, DOOLigans. Mr. DOOLigan here. Welcome to another episode of Dishin' with DOOLigan. Sorry, my episode is starting a little bit late today. Had a minor family emergency this morning, but everything's taken care of. So let's start the show. So today's episode of Days of Our Lives was it had a little bit more information to it today, but it was still a slow episode, not as exciting as yesterday's. So this probably episode of Dishin' with DOOLigan is probably going to be a little bit quick. So I'm just going to do the rundown. We opened up the episode with Steve and Kayla. Steve is calling Kayla about Joey, and informing her that Joey is missing and running away, and so she kind of tells Steve what's going on at the hospital, and that he just needs to not worry about her and stick to his focus on Joey and trying to find him and bring him back. If he did run away, which we already know that he did. And we cut to Gabby when Gabby is still delirious in the hospital. Everybody's around her. Her brother, JJ, and her mother are all there. And the doctor. So the doctor is still trying to find out where patient zero is and where she acquired this flu that's making her delirious and blind. And then we cut to the lobby of the hospital, and they're talking about contacting the CDC, and they're looking for an antivirus in order to try to cure this, but they still don't know exactly what it is. So they're still working on this, trying to find a way to contain this. So what they basically do is they close off the hospital, they quarantine the hospital so nobody can go in and nobody can go out. So whoever's in the hospital is in the hospital, which is John, Marlena, um, Kayla, Finn, JJ, Ariana. Let's see who else. And the brother and Ari. So everybody's there. Oh, and Paul, and amongst the other patients that are there who are sick. And then after that, we cut to the police station where Aiden is still in not the quarantine room, the room to get interrogated, and Hope's about to interrogate him. So this is where the good stuff comes in. She asks, obviously she wants to know who the heck he is, and Aiden just comes right out and tells Hope everything about him working with Stefano the whole time and how he was hired to manipulate her, to seduce her, to forget about Bo, and ultimately to kill her. But the thing is that he said that he ultimately fell in love with her through the whole process, which I think that's probably going to happen to Nicole in her storyline, but we'll get to that later. Um, he tries to tell her the whole story, and Hope is kind of listening to this whole thing. Um, I think she wants to believe that it's Aiden, but her heart wants to believe it's Aiden, but I think her head is saying no. So she tries to put the timeline together and talking to Aiden and asking him exactly when was he kidnapped by the Damaras. And actually, Aiden lies to Hope about this. Instead of telling her that he got kidnapped on the wedding night where um, Andre sticks a needle in his neck, he lies to her and says that it was about a couple of weeks beforehand that he got kidnapped and got thrown in the trunk of the car. Maybe because he didn't want her to know that he was actually considering killing her, like actually got into the whole outfit of the necktie killer, because that would totally get her upset. So he lied to her about that. And another point where he was trying to convince her, she was saying, I stabbed you, Bo shot you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, so you stabbed me, right? So you're saying that you stabbed me. Where did you stab me? And she's like, right here on the shoulder. And so he pulls open his shirt, and obviously there's no scar. So that kind of like blows hope away. Um, and so she's she's kind of questioning herself now. Now she's saying, okay, maybe this could be the real Aiden, or this could still be the imposter. That's why he doesn't have a scar, and she actually killed the real Aiden. And so why is this doppelganger here? So we cut back to the hospital, and JJ's visiting our Gabby, and he's telling her, wants him to go away because she doesn't want him to get infected. But he's saying, look, I already kissed you. We've already been together. If I'm sick, I'm going to be sick. If not, I'm not. So he basically asks her, what does she want him to do for her? And she wants him to bring Ariana to her, or take her to go see Ariana, because she says she needs to see her. Then we cut to Ciara and Theo. They're back at the house. And, they're talking about graduation, and they're making out, and they're being all cute. And then ultimately, Ciara invites Theo upstairs to listen to a playlist. I mean, yeah, we all know that trick. You're like, oh, come to my room. I have a playlist I want you to listen to. Um, but ultimately they are listening to a song. They listen to some headphones, and actually they knock out in bed. They don't actually do anything. Kind of like when he knocked out on her couch about a few weeks ago. And then we go back to Aiden, and he's still continuing trying to prove to Hope that he is Aiden. So he asks her, so ask me some questions. Ask me what only Aiden would know. He's like, you want me to talk to you about the good times? Do you want me to talk to you about the bad times? Do you want me to talk to you about this, about that? So ultimately he goes to when they went on their first date, and how terrible that was, how terrible that was, and how everything went bad. And then he talks about their first anniversary. He talks about the gala, how about they were dancing. I mean, we all know that they love to dance. I mean, they really outplayed that one scene where they're dancing at the gala over and over and over when Hope was trying to decide if she was in love with Aiden. So we got that burned into our brains. And still, Hope is still not convinced. And there was one thing that Aiden brought up, where they were having breakfast, and they were talking about the breakfast, and how Hope said a quote that we'll always have bacon, which I thought was really silly of a quote, that's what proves that he's Aiden. So we'll always have bacon. So that was kind of funny to hear that. But still, Hope is not convinced. She leaves the interrogation room, goes to Roman and Rafe, and they're questioning her. Says, "So what do you think?" And she's like, "No, I don't think it's him. If it is, then why is he here? If he's not, why is he here?" So then we cut back to the hospital, and JJ has taken Gabby to go see Ariana, who is clearly not paying attention to her. I don't know if they actually told the actress who plays Ariana to like ignore her, but that's what she was like, looking off in the distance, and Gabby's trying to like talk to her, and she's like totally ignoring her. Um, so maybe it's the virus that's affecting her, and that she doesn't recognize, Gabby, or she's blind. So then we cut to John, and he actually wants to visit Paul. Marlena tries to stop him, but obviously nothing's going to stop John if he has something set on his mind. So he goes, visits Paul, and talks to Paul and tells him everything that's going on. And Paul finds out that Gabby's in the hospital also with Ariana. And then John tells Paul that the first patient has already died from this virus. And that kind of hits Paul a little bit hard. And so John starts to talk to him about like what they're trying to do, how they're trying to find patient zero. And Paul tells John, hey, I've been laying here, been thinking about it. And he actually brings up DOOLigan, which is kind of funny because yesterday in the tweets, I was reading people's tweets, and people were actually bringing up DOOLigan also. So, I mean, I guess that's in the storyline now. So Paul thinks it's DOOLigan, and he actually blames himself for this whole virus outbreak in Salem. And John tries to tell him that, no, it's not your fault. It's actually my fault because, you came here to see me. So everybody's like trying to point the finger of who's to blame. So Then we cut back to the police station where Hope is again, and still continuing to talk to Roman and Rafe, and she has an idea saying that she thinks that Andre is has planted this Aiden doppelganger, which we know it's the real Aiden, but she thinks it's a doppelganger, and the reason why he planted him there was to gain for him to gain her trust in order to extract information from Hope, um, to confide in Aiden that she actually killed Stefano. Now, I think that's a good idea, if it was true, but obviously we know it's not. But that would actually be a good move for Andre if it was true. But we'll just see how that plays out. So they said they were going to test. They tried to do the whole fingerprint thing, which fell through because the files were missing because the Demirs took that out. So now they're going to try to do a DNA thing, a test, and they're actually going to DNA test Chase to see if it matches up with Aiden. Now, I've been reading the tweets also, and I think someone mentioned that Mark from Dishin Days actually has a theory that Chase is actually a doppelganger too, or also because that that would probably be explain why he raped Ciara. Um, and another Twitter follower of mine said that that would be the only way they would accept the whole if Hope and Aiden were going to get back together is if Chase was a doppelganger also. So if he is a doppelganger and they do test him for DNA, it's not going to match with Aiden's, because if Chase is doppelganger, obviously their blood tests aren't going to match up. So which will kind of like throw a wrench into Aiden's story, which is the truth. So we'll see how that one plays out also. So John, we cut to John. He calls Eduardo because he's telling him about the virus and how Eduardo's practically his whole family is there, um, and talks to him about Yoling and that he needs Eduardo to do a favor for him. Now he asks Eduardo that he needs to go to the police station, which he does. He goes to Roman and wants him to pull the evidence of when um, Paul was rescued from Yoling. And actually, he specifically wants him to go and pull those IV bags in order for them to test for any kind of virus that might match up to the virus that's going on in Salem. So that's what he does. He gets them and he takes them to the hospital. And so Kayla and Finn are gonna test those bags, which they said they weren't going to get the results to the next day, which is the same time the CDC is going to arrive at Salem to help them out with this virus. So we cut back to Hope. Rafe has taken Hope back to her home, and she's sitting there having flashbacks about Aiden attacking her, trying to kill her, and her stabbing him. But we don't see a flashback of Bo, obviously, of Bo shooting him. But, we've come to get used to that. And actually, she walks into the kitchen, and Theo and Ciara come downstairs, and she catches them, and she really doesn't say anything. She's fine with it, but what she's really worried about is what Abe is going to say, because Theo is there late, and he's going to tell Abe that he was with Ciara, and that might cause a little rift. But after Theo leaves, Hope sits down Ciara and ultimately tells her that Aiden is back. Now, of course, Ciara freaks out because she thinks that Aiden is going to try to get Chase out of jail. But Hope convinces her that that's not going to happen, that they're safe, which we don't know if that's true because Andre's giving her calls, and, we'll see how that plays out also. I know I keep saying that, how that plays out, but we just got to wait and see how it plays out. So the last scene that from this episode is we cut back to the hospital, and John and Marlena are talking about everything that's going on, and John starts feeling a little feverish, a little groggy, and Marlena tests him, or not tests him, but feels his forehead, and he's like burning up and all sweaty. So now John has this virus now. Now, I don't know if anybody of these main characters is going to die from this virus. I mean, if they are, who do you think it could be? Could it be Paul? Could it be Ariana? Could it be Gabby? And I think JJ also is getting a little feverish too. So JJ's could be up there. See what happens to that. Um, so what do you guys think? That was the end of the episode. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think, what your theories are. You can leave them in the comments. You can tweet me at Mr. DOOLigan. Um, so before I go, I want to talk about, and you probably guys already know this, I want to talk about Red Nose Day. Now, I've talked about this before in my past episodes. So it's all about having fun, like I said, raising money and changing lives. This happens on Thursday, May 26th, 9 Pacific Standard Time, 8 Central. NBC is going to have this whole special on Red Nose Day. Basically, Red Nose Day is it's money that's raised through this organization, which will help transform the lives of children living in poverty in the U.S. and also internationally. Now you can pick up your Red Nose. It's only $1. I picked up mine at Walgreens. It's an exclusive Red Nose retailer, so you can pick them up there. It's only $1. To help out. The kids in the U.S. and internationally, and it's a good cause. So, and NBC has done this for the past few years, so I think it's fun, something to do, and you feel good about it because you're helping out. If you want to find out more information, you can go to rednosedayusa.com. That's rednosedayusa.com. I put it down here. So yeah, and if you want to take a picture of you on your red nose, hashtag Red Nose Day, hashtag peace, love, and days, hashtag, Dishin with DOOLigan at, Mr. DOOLigan, just show your support, or, hashtag NBC, hashtag duels, hashtag days, let them know that we're out there and we're supporting this cause that they are so passionate about, So, again, thank you for watching this episode. Sorry I was a little late today. I know I didn't send out my tweets today. It was just a very hectic day this morning. But I should be back on schedule tomorrow. I do apologize for that. I will be starting my episode around 1:15, 1:30. So I'll send out the tweet. So you guys, if you have any questions, I'm always open to feedback. So let you know. Again, leave your comments down below. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you like. I do appreciate the constructive criticism, okay? So you guys have a great day, great afternoon, great evening, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay? So peace, love, and days. Bye.